Hello? Good afternoon. Okay, I should learn how to keep it. Good, yes, you have to speak slow. Okay. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I have a pleasure to open this afternoon session, which is called the Open Door, for the Joint ISA project. The Joint ISA project is a project which we just started yesterday and today. Kickoff meeting was yesterday and today. And it is a project funded by the Interreg Danube Transnational Program. This is a project which will last for 36 months, and it is targeted for as the title of the project for the Tisa River Basin. Within the project, we have 12 partners and 5 associated partners. Today's open session door is targeted for broader public, broader audience, mostly for water practitioners, but also for other stakeholders which are interested in water issues or which can be affected by different decisions in the water sector. So with this meeting, we would like to reach 3 main objectives. And one is first, of course, to disseminate information about the project and to inform broad public that this project started. The other one is to involve broad public in the implementation of the project at both levels during the implementing concrete activities, but also during the decision-making process. And with this first open session, we would like to encourage public to take a part, to be active, and to push for more if they have ideas and if they want to say something. The meeting today will have, let's say, 2 parts. One part is a general one to inform you about the program and the objectives and goals. And then the second part will go more in details with content-related topics. During the first part, we will have 3 speakers. Mr. Felix Mondovan, who is presenting the Hungarian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but also the joint Danube strategy program. Then it will be Mr. Peter Kovac, the head of River Basin Management and Water Protection Directorate, Ministry of Interior in Hungary, but also the head of Hungarian delegation within the International Commission for the Protection of the Danube River and the co-chair of the TISA group. And at the end of that part, we will have also few words. We will hear few words from Mr. Balázs Horvat, who is the project leader, team leader, who will give more details about the project itself. After that, we consider it as a light introduction session. Then it will be a bit more information shared with you about the Danube Transnational program itself. After that, I will give the floor to my colleagues, and they will go more in details about the technical issues. So before we start, I would like to ask my colleague, Ms. Gordana Kožuharova, Regional Director from the Regional Environmental Center in charge for the Southeast Europe, and to welcome you all. Gordana.
Okay, thank you, Jovanka. So on behalf of Mr. Michael Dimovski, Executive Director, who was unfortunately busy to join us today during this session, but he was yesterday opening actually the event and the kickoff meeting yesterday with all partners and representatives. So on behalf of REC, I would also like to welcome you on this meeting, and very proudly I may say that this project, actually the TISA project, I would not read the long title of the project, is very high on the agenda of the Regional Environmental Center. As you know, Regional Environmental Center is among the 17 partners in this country, in in this project, basically, with the operations and activities, actually, and also a presence in the number of, in almost all 5 countries within the scope of this project. And the reason is very simple. We believe that cross-border, transboundary, and regional cooperation and projects that are dealing with the issues are very important and can bring together the different stakeholders to hear the voices of the stakeholder and also to contribute to further activities. And as lead of one working package, basically, we also committed our forces and our expertise in other projects, and also to bring the experience, to bring the knowledge that we have from other regions to this region, also to bring our attention to this project, which is on the strategic level. And also I would like to say that this meeting actually for us, and particularly this meeting which is named with the open door or open doors, we are considering as meeting for the open ears. Today we are here actually to listen, because the teams were discussing yesterday the scope of the project activities, agreed on many of the common actions, but it's always a place to hear what are your concerns, what are your ideas, and what are your suggestions for during the implementation of the project. And we are more than welcome to hear your contributions, valuable ones, because participatory approach in all the projects REC is implemented is very important in this project as well. So thank you for being here today with us, and thank you for the contribution. And we are all together with the other partners looking ahead with the 3 upcoming challenging years, but also years when we can contribute for the Tisa and better management of Tisa River. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Gordana. Now I would like to ask Mr. Felix Moldovan to approach you.
Thank you very much. Also, thank you to allowing us a few minutes to talk to you on the second day as well. I've had the chance to talk to my colleagues yesterday after the day has finished, and also to a few of you here during the lunch break. And the overwhelming consensus seems to be that yesterday was a very big success. And I would like to congratulate you for the work you have done yesterday, and wish you the same amount of success for the upcoming period as well. Mr. István Jó has given his speech yesterday. I wouldn't like to repeat it, but I would like to highlight a few points from the speech. Firstly, we are very happy that the consortia of this project gathers a very wide range of experience, not only from participating countries, but also from international organizations who are taking part. Now, this guarantees that this project will be more than simply synthesizing the positions of countries, but also it will also gather the experience of those international institutions who work grassroots dealing with these issues. Secondly, I would like to highlight the fact that it was a very difficult challenge to convince the Danube Transnational Program to finance sub-basin level activities. This is understandable purely because of the type of these projects. They only allow for a limited geographical coverage, but we are very happy and very thankful that the project was financed in the end. And lastly, and with this point I will also slide into the annual forum topic. It's very important for Hungary, as the chair of the Danube Transnational, the Danube Regional Strategy, for non-EU neighboring countries to also be included into this strategy. Now, the fact that this program gathers 2 non-EU countries within its implementation is something which we value greatly. Very briefly, I don't know if I'm still in the time limit of the 5 minutes, but I will try to limit myself to that time. I'd like to say a few words about the annual forum of the Danube Regional Strategy, which Hungary is presiding over. We will organize it on the 18th and 19th of October of this year, and I would thus like to officially invite you as well and ask you to mark it in your calendars. The topics of the annual forum is going to be energy, transportation, and clean connectivity issues, which seemingly have no connection to water per se. but we made sure to allow water and water-related issues to have the chance to also be represented. We will organize an exhibition for the day and a half of the annual forum, where successful projects such as the Joint TISA can also exhibit the achievements they have done. And also the priority area 4 and 5 of the Danube Region Strategy, which deals with water, will also be able to present their success. I'm going to just continue. Okay. Also, the second day of the annual forum, which we organize collectively with the European Commission and also with the Danube Transnational Program, is going to focus more on the financial aspects of project generation and project implementation. The 4 workshops we're going to organize deals with the 4 pillars of the Danube Region Strategy, and will present the financing possibilities for the projects, including in the 4 pillars to those interested. With that, I would like to thank you for the opportunity, and again wish you great success in the upcoming period as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that we are more than happy to join efforts for the benefit of all of us. I would like now to ask Mr. Peter Kovac to take the floor.
Thank you, Jovanka. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm also very glad to be invited for this session. I think it's really important to implement this kind of projects. Bit contrary, I feel the importance of the sub-basins. We are working on a, let's say, every level, on national level and regional level as well. In the frame of the ICPDR, we did a lot of efforts to harmonize all the measures which are leading to the implementation of the Water Framework Directive and the River Basin Planning harmonization. But I also like to highlight the importance of sub-basins, and we have also seen already many good exemplars on the Danube region. For example, the Sava Basin or the TISA also. For us, it's very important because most of the countries on the TISA catchment area, the TISA River and the TISA Basin, has a specialty also for Hungary. And this is quite different from the other parts of the Danube catchment area as well. It has a certain characteristic which is not always reflecting if we are working on a wide basin level, like on the Danube level. There are specific issues like mining activity, which can cause pollution, and we unfortunately already had some pollution events in the past. And I think this basin-wide or sub-basin-wide cooperation can also help to solve such a problems which are beyond the national authorities as well. I think except Serbia and Ukraine are the countries elaborating their river basin management plans on national level, and also in the ICPDR level there are some good working harmonization going on. But also for these 5 countries, the TISA Basin has also a quite important value. And with this project, I think we can continue all the activities which has started in the past. I also chairing the ICPDR TISA group, which was established many years ago. I cannot tell you the exact date, but most of us know it very well. And we successfully elaborated the first river basin management plan, and one of the objectives of this project also to revise this first plan. But it's also more wider than just a revision of the river basin management plan. It will also include many other aspects. Also the harmonization with the flood directive. It's also a kind of unique character which already accepted from the Commission side as well to do it also on national implementation plans. But I think it could be a very good exemplar how these countries can harmonize flood and river basin management aspects. And such a public involvement is not only the compulsory part of river basin management planning, but I can say, as we already finished the second national plan as well, that it's really useful to involve all the stakeholders into the planning process at the beginning. You can clarify many confusion if you are really including your stakeholders in the planning phase. It's very useful, and I think this kind of meetings also can help a lot. It's a possibility also for the stakeholders to ask questions, to make notes, to contribute to our work to make it more successful. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kovac. We all agree with you, and we will try that not to stay with this only one, but to continue this practice. I think it's maybe a good moment to say also to our audience which is online connected that if they have some questions or comments, they can send us to the project. We will share with all of them online the website and the email address where we can collect questions and then during the process to answer to that. Now I would like to ask the team leader to give you also more details about the project itself. Mr.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, we are very proud at General Directorate of Water Management in Hungary that we can be lead partners of this very important project. And first of all, I would like to thank the European Union that brings an amount of money for this very important purpose, which I will talk about a bit in a moment. And also from my other hat, my other side, which is the coordination of the Danube Strategy Priority Area 4 on water quality, I'm also very happy that in the framework of the EU Danube Strategy, such project and such projects are financed by the European Union. So I think that's very important. So what is this project is about? We know that Tisza River is one of the main tributaries of the Danube River, and as we heard before, a lot of work has been done already in the past to ensure that the quality and quantity of waters flowing in this river and the tributaries of this river are in appropriate conditions. The EU directives, the Water Framework Directive and the Floods Directive, require all the member states to establish river basin management plans and flood risk management plans, which are basically planning tools for all the activities, all the water management activities in the basins. Now, there is also a requirement to establish on transboundary river basins such transboundary plans, and this is what was already done in one exercise for the Tisza River basin, but this was quite a long time ago, so this is really high time to update the necessary data to establish new river basin management plans for the Tisza basin, sub-basin, and as a new element, flood risk management plans for the Tisza sub-basin, and to integrate all these planning procedures together. This is the purpose for which we will spend this amount of money, and I'm very happy to announce that all the 5 countries who are represented in the Tisza sub-basin, namely Romania, Ukraine, Slovakia, Serbia and Hungary, are involved with a number of partners in this project. So it is ensured that all the necessary partners are included. Of course, I have to mention here also the ICP there and some other international partners who contribute very intensively to this work. So I think the consortium is very well established. Now it's up to the different partners to carry out this nice work, and from my side, from the lead partner, I can ensure that we are going to this project in very big enthusiasm, and I hope that in 2.5 years' time, when we will have a final conference of this project, I hope we will be as happy as today. And we also hope, and this is a bit of message to the people who are listening to us, that with the involvement of all the stakeholders and the public, also the people in the sub-basin will be happy in the future with all the water management issues in the sub-basin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ballas. You may see that we are here sitting in the one very clever, environmentally friendly building, and this switch on and off light is due to the efficiency, energy efficiency and saving purposes. Thank you very much. Now I will give a floor to Mr. Gustav Chomori. He's coming from the Joint Secretariat of the Danube Transnational Program to share with us more information about the grounds for the program, to award our projects and to really accept our reasons for the importance of the projects, and to give us this amount of EU money to implement it for the benefit of all of us. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair, and I would also like to welcome in the name of the financing program, the Danube Transnational Program, all the guests being present. As it was said, I will partly introduce the program itself and give some words, the connection of the joint TISA project into the program framework. At the very beginning, I would like to take the opportunity once again to congratulate to the project partnership that they made this project proposal being successful and selected for implementation. Now some few words about the program itself. The Interreg name might be familiar to some of you. It refers actually to that type of programs that refer to territorial cooperation within Europe. It has different strands. One is related and focusing on cross-border cooperations. There is another one which has a broader territorial scope, the transnational programs addressing different micro-regions of Europe. And within this group of programs, one of them is the Danube Transnational Program with an approximate budget of 221 million euro. The program area is basically the same as of the Danube Strategy Program area. It involves 9 EU countries, 3 candidate countries and 2 neighborhood countries, which are supposed to work together within this more or less of the Danube River basin area. The main mission of the program is on the one hand to achieve territorial and improve territorial integration of this heterogeneous and complex area by projects and interventions that are addressing such issues that has transnational relevance, which cannot really be solved or improved simply by national individual actions or local actions, but need really joint collaboration on a broader territorial scope. And at the same time, we would also like to act as a policy driver, meaning that the program is supporting are supposed to reach the policy level of the selected thematic fields and bring forward policy harmonizations of those sectors and thematic fields. And of course, although the program itself is not an implementation program of the Danube strategy, since priorities and the scope is somewhat different, but it's one important financial instrument that is contributing to achieve the Danube strategy objectives. The program is structured along 4 main priorities. One of them is related to environment and culture responsible region, and each priority is divided into certain specific objectives. Now, what is relevant in the context of the Joint TISA project is the specific objective focusing on strengthening transnational water management and flood prevention, flood risk prevention. The key principles that are expected from a project to be financed by the program is, first of all, to have real transnational character. As I said, having by geographical scope a transnational relevance, a transnational dimension. The issue targeted and addressed by the project is supposed to have also transnationally relevant, so not something collection of local issues and just trying to network by a couple of partners, but really something that, for example, the Joint TISA project is doing, finding solutions for the whole TISA River Basin area. Result-oriented, meaning that the specific objective of the program is expected to be addressed and the project expected to focus on and deliver concrete outputs and achieve concrete results that are in fact durable, meaning that at the end what the project is achieving then will be taken up by all those target groups and stakeholders for whom the project is working and elaborating its products. Of course, for this, a qualitative partnership is needed, having on board those relevant institutions, organizations from sectoral point of view, but also from not from a single, let's say in this case, water management sector, but also environmental bodies or such relevant international bodies like the ICPDR, which have clear role in defining the future policy within water management and flood prevention in the TISA River Basin. Of course, this needs an integrated approach, having on board those stakeholders of relevant other sectors that I already referred to, and of course the money provided for implementation is expected to be spent in a resource sufficient way. One characteristic of the transnational programs, and in this way of course of the Danube transnational program as well, that it's not financing big investments, rather focusing on policy harmonization. So the end products of such projects are more soft types, strategies, guidelines for policy instruments or tools to be used by certain actors, and of course achieving or reaching some capacity development or improvement within these target groups and of those involved institutions. The specific objective itself is focusing on, as I said, a joint integrated approach to develop and implement river basin management plans. So in this respect, the Joint TISA project is very well focusing on the objective of the program, intend to improve water management and flood prevention aspects and issues. Some statistic on program level. So far, there was one call for proposals, for which we received a quite number of proposals, nearly 550, out of which 34 was targeting this specific objective. And as you can see, there was a quite high competition, because at the very end, 3 projects were selected for support. One of them is the joint TISA. The 3 projects of this specific objective, including their own contribution, make up an overall budget of nearly 8.5 million euro, and 85% of these are coming from the program, from the ERDF funding and IPA funding sources. Partly I already explained why the joint TISA project has clear relevance in the program, and in the following presentations, of course, you will hear more details about the projects. So all in all, at the end, the project promised to provide improvement in integration of water management and flood risk prevention for the TISA River Basin. And in connection to this, as it was mentioned, the River Basin Management Plan is going to be updated, but it's also dealing and connect other water management aspects, including also drought and climate change. The project environment, it was mentioned that there are direct project partners who receive the actual finances, and they are working on a daily basis to implement the project from the 5 TISA River countries. Then there are key policy and other key thematic actors who are kind of strategic partners with relevant contribution to the work of the main partners. But of course, in order to reach sufficient level and impact on policy level, the involvement of the Danube strategy actors, priority area coordinators, and priority areas of water quality and of environmental risk has clear relevance, and they are also involved in this process. And as it has also been mentioned, without the actual target groups and stakeholders, still the project consortium, the partnership, would not reach their goals if they would not manage to reach these groups and also find and involve them in this. At the end of my presentation, I would also look a bit beyond the joint TISA project, because it's also important, not only from the program perspective, but also in general term, that projects are not just simply carried out and implemented for themselves, delivering something at the very end, and that was it. But also looking around, already taking on board what has already been done, as well as taking into consideration what's going on parallel. And in this respect, as I said, there are other projects in connection to water and flood prevention related issues. And the program is promoting the cooperation of these projects among each other, sharing their outputs, connecting their knowledge and stakeholder groups with each other. And at the end, hopefully, this synergy will have even further added value than the project themselves. And of course, all those stakeholders and target groups that are addressed by the program are also very warmly welcome to work together with these projects, and in order to achieve higher impact for the whole region. With this, I thank you very much your attention, and I give back the floor to the chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Csomor. I think your presentation was really giving us information from the other angle, so that the picture is now complete. I would like now at this point to thank you to our speakers and to ask them for their support and full support and for the next 36 months. From our side, from the side of the project, we we will do our best to do full cooperation and coordination with all of the activities. Thank you very much. We are continuing immediately further. I would like now, as I announced before, the other part of this open session is more devoted to the content-related information about the project itself, and I would kindly ask my colleagues, Ms. Melinda Watts from the from the TISA office in Hungary, and Ms. Edith Hall, to take the floor and to give you information about the project. Melinda, the floor is all yours.
Okay. Thank you, Jovanka. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to present the Joint TISA project with the details. So, this project was developed with the close cooperation of the ICPDR TISA group as well, and Edith will speak about it. And what are the main challenges in the TISA River Basin? Water quality related pressures, water quantity related pressures, and integration of water quality and quantity in the TISA River Basin. How I mentioned, Edith will speak about the closer cooperation between the TISA countries, and why the Joint TISA project was developed. The Joint TISA project will focus on interaction of two key aspects, the river basin management and flood protection, taking into account the relevant stakeholders who have pivotal role in the TISA RBM planning process. And the main aim of the project is to further improve the integration of the water management and flood risk prevention planning and actions in the next RBM planning cycle in line with the relevant EU legislations. The project development is since 2013, so we started about 2 years ago, when in the 22nd TISA group meeting in Cluj-Napoca, the project idea was presented. Yes, and in last year, 2 years ago, in 2015, October, we submitted the expression of interest to the DTP transnational program, and as the second step, in 2016 May, we fulfilled the application form. And after following positive evaluation, the project was awarded for fund, and now we are by the start of the project. Let's see who are the partners. How Jovanka mentioned, we have 12 partners. That means the project partner has own budget, and we have 5 associated strategic partners as well who supports our work. And the project partners are from the 5 TISA countries as well, and also we have international organizations. Let's see, the project title is Strengthening Cooperation Between River Basin Management Planning and Flood Risk Prevention to Enhance the Status of Waters of the TISA River Basin. The funding program is the Interact DTP, and the project budget is over 2 million euros, and the project duration is 13 months. We started in January, and we will finish the end of June in 2019. The project's specific objective is to harmonize the national water and flood risk management strategic document and plans toward the development of an integrated transboundary management plan. So we will update the first integrated TISA River Basin management plan, and to better facilitate stakeholder involvement from the river basin and flood risk protection planning sectors. What are the main results which we expected? Improved GIS database for the TISA River and its tributaries, final draft of the update of the ITR BMP, urban hydrology pilot action, training of best management on urban hydrology, drought and climate change pilot action, flood risk issues, and enhanced stakeholder involvement, development of public involvement and participation strategy. And here you can see the structure of the project. I just mentioned the name of the VPs, and my colleagues will present in detail the technical work packages. The work package first is the project management. The second is relating communication activities, so communication and dissemination. The third one is basin characterization and surface water and water quality. The VP4 is water quantity issues and also groundwater. The fifth is flood management, and in VP6, which is the synthesis, will be hopefully the integrated Tisza River Basin Management Plan draft will be updated. So, and yes, the capitalization is also important for us, and not just for the DTP, to change information and find the synergies between the projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Melinda, for this very good overview of the joint TISA project, its main activities and expected outcomes. And in order to go on now with our discussion on the transnational cooperation in the Tisza River Basin, I would like to ask my colleagues to join me here in order to have then the more detailed presentations on the technical content of the project. So I would like to ask Mr. Radoslav Bojnovský from the Slovakian Water Research Center to join me here. I would also like to ask Mrs. Branislava Matic, from the Jaroslav Černý Institute in Belgrade, as well as Miodrag Milovanovic from the Jaroslav Černý Institute to join me here. Further on, I would like to ask Mrs. Ramona Dumitrace from Romania to come here to the floor, as well as Mr. János Feher from the Global Water Partnership Central and Eastern Europe. So thank you very much for joining me here at the podium, let's say. I would like to very warmly now welcome all the project partners, the experts, the friends of the Tisza River Basin, and of course also all our online guests listening here to our discussion on the transnational cooperation in the Tisza River Basin. I am talking here also on behalf of the ICPDR. The ICPDR is the International Commission for the Protection of the Danube River, which was already mentioned several times. And just what is the ICPDR about, and how important is the Tisza River Basin as a sub-basin of the Danube River Basin? The ICPDR is the platform for coordination of transboundary water management issues in the Danube Basin. It is based on the Danube River Protection Convention, which was founded in the year 1994. And I have to say that the Danube River Basin is the most international river basin in the world, because we are, in our Danube River Basin, we do have 14 contracting parties, plus the European Union, cooperating on transboundary water management issues. And what makes also the Danube Basin, including the Tisza as an important sub-basin of the Danube Basin, so important is that we involve countries being part of the European Union, but also 5 countries being outside of the European Union. And you already heard a lot about the European Water Framework Directive, about the Floods Directive, and via the cooperation in the ICPDR, also those countries who are legally not committed to implement European legislation, as the Water Framework Directive and the Floods Directive, committed themselves to implement these very important pieces of transboundary water management in the basin. I think this is really something outstanding when we talk about the Danube Basin, including the Tisza as an important sub-basin. When we talk about the Water Framework Directive and the Floods Directive, of course, we also do have very important intersectoral issues, which are also of importance in the Tisza Basin. In particular, when we think about climate change adaptation, droughts. The drought issue is getting more and more important. The ICPDR just issued a report on the droughts in the year 2015, and the droughts will also be an issue to be tackled and to be addressed within the joint Tisza project. But of course, there are other issues of intersectoral importance, for example, when it comes to hydropower, also an issue to be thought about. When it comes to the Tisza River Basin, we have to say that for a long time there is a big support and a big commitment of the family of the ICPDR supporting all the activities of the Tisza Basin. And when it comes to the history, there was a ICPDR ministerial meeting in the year 2004 where the representatives of the 5 Tisza countries, being Ukraine, Romania, Slovakia, Hungary, and Serbia, signed a first memorandum of understanding to cooperate, to coordinate activities, and also to develop a first integrated Tisza River Basin Management Plan. In addition, it was already mentioned in the beginning, there was in the year 2003 the ICPDR Tisza group established, where all the 5 countries are cooperating on a very regular basis within the ICPDR framework. And all this very good cooperation and coordination among the countries ended up in the adoption of the first integrated Tisza River Basin Management Plan in the year 2011. But the work in the year 2011 did not stop, because there was a further memorandum of understanding of the ministers of the Tisza countries to go on with this work and to call for further continued efforts also towards an update of this first integrated Tisza River Basin Management Plan, which, as I said, was adopted in the year 2011. And that is where we are standing now. This joint Tisza project will in particular support all these activities towards the updated integrated Tisza River Basin Management Plan. That is somehow the framework where we are acting in when it comes to the legal framework, when it comes to this cooperation via the ICPDR Tisza expert group. And that is why I would like now to ask the colleagues here on the podium to also give some more content-related information when it comes to this particular basin of the Tisza River. And that is why I would like, as a first presentation, ask Mr. Radoslav Bujnovski from the Slovakian Water Research Center to give us some information about the status of the surface waters in the Tisza River Basin. Please, Radoslav, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. As you know, it was agreed at project preparation. Water Research Institute in Bratislava is leading work package 3, which is focused or oriented to surface of water. Water preservation, both in terms of quality and quantity, represents long-term task oriented not only to water management sector, but also to all significant stakeholders which operate in watersheds or in Tisza River Basin. In this idea, there are 2 principles. It is participation and responsibility. As it was presented, but you can see it again. Work package 3 is oriented or focused on 5 activities, starting with Tisza River Basin characterization, and finishing with evaluation of the significant water management issues and proposal of effective measures, which are most practical part of any analysis and planning. Very briefly, you can see the content or some items which belong to individual activities. You can see the information, basic information, which will belong to characterization of Tisa River Basin as such setting the scene, such biophysical and socio-economic platform. It is the basis for starting any activities in practice. Second activity is focused to estimation or definition significant pressures, which then belong mostly organic pollution, nutrient pollution, hazardous substances, hydromorphological alteration, and of course there are also other pressures. Internal or organic part of evaluation of this project and this work package is assessment and of water status, which is focused to national monitoring networks as well as transnational monitoring networks. Part of this activity is also, or to belong here, environmental objectives, which can be stringent or less stringent, and some exemptions with regard to Article 4.4, 4.5, and 4.7. Very interesting part of this work package will be also preparation of joint TISA survey manual. You can see the, some items or chapters which will be included in this document. And as I mentioned, final part of this work package will definition and significant water management issues and proposal of environmentally effective and economically efficient measures. Of course, these measures must be acceptable or realizable in practice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Radoslav. So that was a first introduction to this work package 3, which is about the assessment of the status of the surface waters. As you know, that is the first step towards this updated integrated Tisa River Basin Management Plan, doing this assessment in terms of pressures, identifying the significant water management issues, and finding the appropriate measures. Thank you very much. I would like now to ask Branislava from the Serbian Jaroslav Černy Institute to give us, mirroring the information Radoslav was just presenting in terms of groundwater, please.
Doesn't working. Okay, you can just. Okay, good. I will just show. So this is the actually work package 4 will address surface water quantity and groundwater quantity and quality. The main purpose of this, since my major issues are in Tisa River, one of the major stormwater management issues are interlinkage between water quantity and water quality as identified by ICPDR Tisa group. So the K integrated water quantity management issues are characterized in the following way. flood and excess water, droughts and water scarcity, and climate change. Our idea is, like as a project team, to develop templates so we can collect data on water demand with respect to water quantity and different users, and also to update existing data for the groundwater and quantity and quality in line with ICPDR templates developed by ICPDR expert group, a task group for groundwater. Okay, so I will. I'm not going to go in details. We have 4 sub-activities. The main focus is on data collection, present those data on existing measures with respect to surface water quantity and groundwater quality and quantity. And also we have urban hydrology within this work package. And finally, we will have a synthesis report on these activities. Also, it's really important to underline that this work package is quite connected and linked with all other work packages. And we are, I can say that all project partners are involved in this work package. So we expect really good cooperation, and it's really great group of people. And thank you.
Thank you, Branislava, for presenting your work package 4 about these water quality and quantity related issues. As I already said before, the issue of climate change adaptation, droughts, is getting more and more important, and this is also why this has a very important role, these interlinkages between quality and quantity, also in this joint TISA project. Are there probably any questions for clarifications? If this is not the case, I would like to invite Mrs. Ramona Dumitrace from the Romanian National Institute of Hydrology and Water Management to give a presentation about the work package on the flood management issues in the Tisa River Basin, please.
Yes, respectively, the work package 5. I will try to make a shortly presentation about the Romanian experience in the flood risk management plans development, the Romanian approach. Okay, this is the content of my presentation. First of all, some words about the joint TISA projects. Some words about the flooding causes in the Tisa River Basin. Relevant figures of the Transboundary River Basin Administration's level regarding the flood risk, the methodological approach proposed for this flood risk management plans process developed in Romanian, some short information exchange under the flood directive for the transboundary areas, and the stage for implementation of the directive flood directives in Romania with regards to the flood risk management plans perspectives. Okay. About the joint TISA projects, so you know all stuff. So, but just I want to remind you, it's important for this project the interaction of the 2 key aspects of water management, respectively river basin management and flood protection. And the main output of these projects will be an updated final draft of the integrated Tisa River Basin Management Plan. As you know, the most of half of the surface of the Tisa River Basin there in Romania. This is important thing because from the collecting the data, it's more relevant, this percent of the surface. Okay. Regarding the flooding causes in the Tisa River Basin, it's important, one important aspect is the morphology of this catchment that lead to the overlapping of flood waves, that means cumulative effects. The other aspect is the value of the important aspects. The value of maximum flows is higher than other comparable rivers in this country. in the country, in Romanian country. This has the relevant figures regarding the flood risk at the transboundary river basin the administration level, especially in river basin administration Someș-Tisa, Crișuri-Mureș, and the part of Banat. And the most exposed river basin administration at the in terms of the figures of the flood risk, it's river basin administration Mureș with the 157,000 people, inhabitants affected, 109 kilometers of roads, and etc. These figures are for return period floods of 100 years. And go back, please. Thank you. These figures are calculated for the in the framework of the flood risk management plan of the river basin administration. The methodological approach proposed in Romania for flood risk management plans process development was conducted by the National Institute of Hydrology and Water Management with the support of the National Administration Romanian Water through the river basin administrations. There are 11 rivers basin administration in Romanian. Okay. The important key aspects of the flood risk management, they are the flood risk management objectives. We have 4 strategic objectives: avoid, prevent new risks, reduce existing risks, increasing resilience, and public awareness. And we have 4 criteria for the specific objectives: economical, social, environmental, and cultural heritage criteria. Another important aspect is the catalog of the national potential measures. This catalog contains 23 types of measures that follow the 5 areas of action: prevention, protection, restoration and reconstruction, preparedness, and the public awareness of flood risk. This program of measures was applicable at the 3 levels: national, basin, respectively river basin administration level, and local, through the areas with the potential significant flood risk. In this slide is to present some examples of the measures from these flood risk management plans that reach the environmental objectives. Because in this catalog was proposed structural and non-structural measures. You have the map with the major integrated projects that are proposed in these flood risk management plans at the river basin administration level. This is river basin administration Crișuri, Mureș, Banat. In line with the existing bilateral Romanian-Hungarian cooperation and taking into account the international coordination requirements of the flood directive, with respect to transboundary regions, was 2 meetings have been organized within Flood Defense Subcommission dedicated to the Flood Directive Implementation Exchange in 2007 and 2016. These are the most important steps for implementation of the directive, flood directive, with regards to the flood risk management plans in Romanian. I mentioned only on 22 March 2016, we reporting flood risk management plans to the European Commission through WISE for all 11 river basin administration and Danube River, and in 19 January 2017, we reload the flood risk management plans to the European Commission through WISE, because this flood risk management plans was approved through governmental decisions in Romania. Some perspectives for the second cycle of the implementation of flood directive. First step is to update the areas with potential significant flood risk and update the flood mapping taking into account the flash floods, the climate change, and the long-term urban development. Romanian, through National Administration, Romanian Water, and National Institute of Hydrology and Water Management, will organize the next Working Group Floods 21 meeting and a workshop on climate change, and the second reporting subgroup meeting in Bucharest in March 2017. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ramona, I think these experiences from the Romanian national level are very valuable, also helping and supporting in the establishment of the integrated Tisza River Basin Management Plan, which is the task of this joint Tisza project. So thank you very much for giving us these insights. As the last but not least presentation, I would like to ask now Mr. János Feher from the Global Water Partnership Central and Eastern Europe to give us some information about the planned update of the integrated Tisza River Basin Management Plan, please.
Thank you, Edith. We have discussed many details during the project workshop during the last 1.5 days. I am not planning to go into very deep technical details characterizing the work package 6, which is named as synthesis. This is a sort of cream on the cake. This will produce 3 major outputs out of the 6 offered for this project. The first one is compiling, editing, and finalizing the draft version of the updated integrated Tisza River management plan. This will be a huge cooperation effort of all partners involved in this project, and even beyond that, we strongly believe that when the first draft will be available and presented during one of the major conference or workshops, then a wider audience, hopefully even through the internet, will be interested and will interact with us and share their views and recommendations and proposals to make the final version more applicable, usable, and useful for the next period decision makers and implementers of the plan. Although it sounds quite easy, it won't be that easy, especially because this project planned to add some additional characteristics of the planning process. One of them will be the issue dealing with climate change impact on the surface and groundwater quantity resources. And that effort even will be linked with a new planning approach, which is called shared vision planning process, which is a little bit different, almost contrary to the traditionally used method within the Water Framework Directive required river basin management planning process, which is a sort of top-down approach. The shared vision planning method, by their original concept, is a bottom-up approach where the planners first open the door for all available views and ideas and requests, and then start the planning, and there will be some kind of interactions during the planning process. So that's what we would like to experience in case of climate change linkage to the water resources planning as well. The other extras, what we would like to provide through the implementation of this work package as a little bit modified and tailored new concept of the public involvement and procedure, which will also be linked with some of the elements of shared vision planning process. And even at the end, it is planned to produce a guidance or some kind of tutorial materials for those who, after this project, would like to use and utilize in their next phase planning procedure. So, all in all, we are enthusiastic that work package 6, the synthesis, is not just a simple copy and paste process of the results what have already been produced by the previously mentioned technical work packages, but it has some own characteristics as well, and giving all new features to the planning procedures what could be utilized after this project ended. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, János, for your presentation. I think with all those presentations, you have now a good insight into the design and the setup of the project, be it the pressure analysis, be it the interlinkage between quantity and quality, the integration also of the flood issues, the coordinated implementation of the Water Framework Directive and the Floods Directive, and then, of course, as the final product, the integrated Tisza River Basin Management Plan update. Again, as it was already mentioned in the beginning, I would like to encourage also our guests from the online community to send their questions, if there are any, also to those 4 presentations. I would like to ask for questions from the audience, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Magda Tortnagy, and I used to work for the Regional Environmental Center. For 22 years, I was also part of the Tisza expert group until 2012. And now I'm working as a consultant on different projects. I'm also a member of 2 NGOs based in Hungary. One is EMLA, Environmental Management and Law Association, and the other one is the Public Interest Lawyers Association of Central and Eastern Europe. And I had the chance to be involved in the development of the first Tisza River Basin Management Plan. I would like to first of all congratulate to you for this project. It seems to be an excellent project as a structure and content, and the project partners, or those who are partners or associated partners, invited to the project seem to be really the relevant ones. I also would like to thank for the funding opportunity, which means also that the Tisza group in the future will be able to function more efficiently. And also, we are very glad to see that there will be an updated integrated river basin management plan. In addition, I would like to ask some questions. And one question is, we had the first cycle of planning and already implementation of this plan. So how are you going to evaluate the lessons from that cycle, and how will you take it into account? This is the first question. Sorry. The second question regards the public participation strategy, because you mentioned that you are going to develop it, but it seems to be like outcome of the project. So will it be really outcome, or will you already implement in the project after you will prepare this draft updated plan? Will you already implement the new strategy in the practice? And the third question, sorry, regards how are you planning to take into account the planned development projects in the Tisza River Basin, which may have, which are ongoing activities or planned future development activities which may have significant effect on the environment and water. So these are my questions. I'm very glad to see that already some lessons are incorporated actually in your project construction. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these very interesting questions, and probably we take them already now, and I have the pleasure of inviting also Miodrag Milovanovic here in our round, and he is someone who was already involved in the setup of the first Tisza River Basin Management Plan, and he's for sure the best to answer the question of how to evaluate what was done in the first River Basin Management Plan, what are the challenges for the next one, and what are the lessons learned from the first one. So, Miodrag, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe this is not exactly a question for me, but I will try to answer to those questions. During the first phase, we plan to collect the data again, and then switched? Yeah. Okay. We tried to collect the data about to improve the already collected the data and to collect the new data, and all those data will be used to evaluate the first plan, the results of the first plan. So we plan to, let's say, to see what is done between the two planning periods, and to evaluate and use those data into preparation of the next phase of the planning. This is about this first question. For the second, I think that somebody from the work package which is dealing with the communication will be much more, maybe I think Imola will.
Thank you very much. I will be just standing here. No. Thank you very much. Regarding the public participation strategy, yes, is it aimed to develop at the first stage of the project in order to be implemented, so to make sure that the stakeholders and the interested parties are involved at an early stage and active involvement is ensured. So we are currently started the work with the partners on developing this strategy, and we start implementation as soon as possible of that. So, thank you. And there was a third question as well?
Yes, there was a third question about how to integrate the already ongoing projects, plus also the planned ones, which are also tackling the Tisza River Basin, and where there are also overlaps. I mean, I'm only thinking, for example, the Danube project or any others, and how these issues, results could be also linked to the joint Tisza.
I think that Magda's questions was more towards for the development projects. I think that that we've like in first integrated Tisza River Basin Management Plan, we had a part which is dealing with the future infrastructure projects and their effects, and also this project will be somehow affected the exemptions which will be dealt under the articles 4344 and 47. So definitely, by my opinion, all future infrastructure projects will be tackled by this plan. Absolutely, that had to be incorporated, since all countries are practically giving what is in their national plans for the next cycle. So this will be reflected in this. Can I just few words, because in the first part I did not had chance to express my satisfaction that we are doing this for the second time, and my hope that this time we will have even more chances than the last time, when we have now much more involvement of financial help of European Union and other, to be able to better tackle the problems which are in the Tisa River much more. It's a little bit more different than in the Danube River basin, and particularly on some other sub-basins. To illustrate that, I can say only that Tisa is by far the largest river basin in a Danube. It has, let's say, comparing to the second largest Sava, it has 1.6 times more square kilometers than Sava. On the other hand, the discharges of the Tisa are twice less than the discharges of the Sava, which makes some 3.5 times more pressures on waters on Tisa higher than on Sava waters. So all the problems which affects the water quantities, but on the other hand the water qualities are much more on the Tisa River basin than on other sub-basins in the Danube. So our approach that we plan to do this time with the shared vision and some new approaches, involvement of the stakeholders, which are extremely important for the Tisa, because the agriculture is practically the highest consumptive use of the water. We will try from the beginning to involve all the stakeholders and to change the paradigm of thinking in a planning process. So I'm looking forward for this process to be much more open for the stakeholder involvement than previous one.
Thank you very much, Mirag, and we very much appreciate your experiences from the past, because I think it's very important that people who are already for such a long time working in the Tisa River Basin are again on board now in this project towards the updated integrated Tisa River Basin management plan. So we really very much appreciate your input here, and that you're on board in this project. Radoslav, you have to leave, so thank you very much for your input, thank you very much for your contributions, and have a safe trip home. Still, we are not ready, so I think, Miodrag, you perfectly highlighted already some additional benefits now also from this new joint Tisa project, because as I said, we do have the ICPDR Tisa group in place with the cooperation of the countries, but still with this funding from the Danube Transnational Program now, we do really have a very good chance for a great cooperation within the Tisa countries now for the next years. And probably, Janusz, you would also like to say something about the benefits of the joint Tisa project.
That will be great. What I just wanted to really comment to the questions of concerning how we will handle the first integrated Tisa River management plans results, and how we will evaluate the changes. Because of the time shift of the preparation of this update, which is coming a year or 2 years after the update of the Danube integrated river basin management plan, plus the second version of the national river basin management plans, we will have a chance to look at those specific issues what the Commission will investigate in connection with this updated national river basin management plan, and utilizing at least those questions, we will be able to prepare our answer directly in the update. So I'm almost confident that the plan will tackle at least the analysis of the change, the analysis of what measures have worked on the integrated level. So we have to emphasize and make it clear for the stakeholders as well that we are not upruling of the national plans of the Tisza basin national parts, but what we are doing is identifying common issues which can be solved or could be solved or should be solved in a joint or common effort, and that's important, and to identify what kind of common actions and measures would be needed to improve whatever specific issues we target. So that's different from the national level planning process, because at that level each country concentrated on their own duties, what they have to do to improve the ecological status of the water bodies. But we are dealing with a different level, different layer, and that's different. So that's why our task is to make the assessment what has been done, what has been successful, what's failed, and then we will step forward. So that's absolutely important for all of the partners to understand that what is written in the national plans, those are good information, but not enough. We have to take the other perspective. So that's important. Thank you.
Thank you, Janis. I think that was also a good summary of transboundary cooperation and why we do have this whole exercise here in addition to the national level. And just one also addition to the issue when it comes to exemptions, Article 47, etc. There's already many things ongoing on European level, and all these what is going on EU level is also communicated via the ICPDR, via the ICPDR TISA group, and will definitely also feed in to all the activities in the joint TISA project. So thank you very much for your very interesting questions. Are there any more questions from the audience? If this is not the case, I would also like to address one issue, because we do have here the open session also addressed to stakeholders. And we had a very interesting kickoff meeting now yesterday and today in the morning, and today in the morning. And we already set concrete next steps for the project in terms of meetings, also including the stakeholders. And I would have one question here to my colleagues on the podium, where you see in particular also the stakeholders as important to contribute to the success of the joint TISA project, and how this broader, the broader group of stakeholders can also help in bringing good successes in the joint TISA project. May I probably ask Miodrag again, who is really the one working in the basin for such a long time, to give his feedback on that.
But you're absolutely right. We when we are doing the first TISA integrated TISA river basin management plan, we were faced with the problem that for some type of stakeholders we could not manage to reach the adequate representatives of the stakeholders on a regional level. When you come to the national level, it's more or less easy to go to the stakeholders. But when you reach the regional level of sub basins and the TISA and the Danube as a whole, for some type of stakeholders, it's not easy to find the adequate stakeholders to be present and to that can participate in the process. I'm particularly the problems are with the agriculture. As you know, for the first stakeholder meetings of the Danube and such process, it's relatively easy to find stakeholders in the energy sector, because there is energy community, larger energy community. For the agriculture business, it's not very easy to find. You can find on a local level, but to have representatives on a wider regional level. So one of the tasks for us is to reach to the adequate stakeholders, particularly since in a TISA we are faced with what János said. Each national plan represents one country and the problems of one country. When you foresee the increase of the irrigation in Romania, in Hungary, in Serbia, in Slovakia, you end up with water quantities which are beyond the normal situation in a basin. And it will affect at the end the water quantities in the whole basin, and at the end affecting the water qualities. So we had to have a joint action and to foresee on what is the real possibility of all countries to increase the irrigation. This is something that I see as added value of this regional and the task for all of us. So, yeah.
János?
I fully agree. Nothing to complain. Only just to re-emphasize again that we are going to think at the entire river basin level, and what we will produce will be recommendations for the decision maker. This project will not produce a final legally approved document. And that's the interesting point. That's why we would like to include, even during the preparation of the plan, all decision makers in advance to inform and to include them into the planning process. That's the shared vision planning concept. We hope that this will generate some kind of interest and enthusiasm for the decision makers, because at the end the measures what we will produce would require similar joint effort of the country's decision makers and those who are the integrated players like the energy sector or whoever. So that would be a key point, whether or not we could mobilize them and draw the attention to them to participate even during the planning process, and later on when that document, which will be a printed material in physical reality and in electronic form, would be a useful, adaptable document which will have a life after the project, or they will just put into the drawer and then forget it and go for some pub beers and so forth. What we would like to see later on, that they will really adapt through the ICPDR TISA group, the national representatives finally approve the document, and that after the approval, the document will have impact first on the decision making and later on the reality in the environment as well. So that's my big hope, and that's why I'm still enthusiastic working in this project after 40 years with the late unfortunate Vituki. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions from the audience? If this is not the case, Branislava, you would probably like to add something.
I totally agree with Miodrag and with János. I just want to say that we, from the beginning, from the preparatory process of the project, we try to involve at the national level, let's say, I don't want to say that, but the very important strategic partners. And those are, like in Serbia, this is the institution that is in charge for all like water management issue and transboundary cooperation, etc. And it is the same for the all countries. So I think it's really important way to have them on the board from the beginning, as János and Miodrag said, so they can, let's say, generate or attract more different stakeholders or decision makers when it comes to planning process, etc., etc.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all your presentations. Thank you for your very good questions. I think there is a lot ahead of us. I think there will be very interesting products for the international level, also to be fed back to the national level. I think there will be very interesting input discussions also for the stakeholders, for the interested public. And I would say I have the honor of now closing this discussion on the transboundary cooperation in the Tisza River Basin by also saying that there is a webpage of the Joint Tisza project where you can find very informative information, also the presentations from the kickoff meeting from today. You will probably also see in all your premises and probably somewhere around these very nice posters with the mayflies on it, and I would say I can only wish all of us a big success with the implementation of the Joint Tisza project, and I thank you for your attention, I thank you for being here, and I thank you for all your contributions here on the podium. Thank you very much, have a good afternoon and a safe trip back home. Thank you.